The area of events in Nassarawa politics in the recent times seems to have created a leeway for your party, the Social Democratic Party, in Nassarawa State. Nassarawa State is known for its capacity to swing their votes to wherever they wish to, regardless of the power of incumbency. How would you react to the recent inflow of political heavyweight from the ruling All Progressive Congress to your party, the SDP in Nassarawa State? We have heavyweights like Honorable Wadada, Senator Akwanchiki, and Alhaji Jonathan all flowing into your party.
See, the voice of people is the voice of God. God has already decided and choose for the people of Nassarawa State. That is why all the skirmishes happening in APC is happening. Originally from the 2019, what happened in APC, make APC not having base in Nassarawa. And with what happened now in 2023, all of us now moved to SDP to bring that base of political ground in Nassarawa. And I assured you that the ground we are having in Nassarawa, it will take us just within a blink of an eye to win the election of all seats in Nassarawa State.
In another sense, people will say you risk disharmony within your party with the influx of this heavyweight from the ruling All Progressive Congress to your party. How integrating is the push of these heavyweights? And what is being done to ensure that all this translates to an electoral victory for your party in 2023?
Yeah, you see, what actually is going to integrate is about people of Nassarawa State. We are all individuals that actually come to form a party. And party is a supremacy of everybody that is aspiring. When we have our name and we have party, party has joined us together to be our father. So we have this party and we are people of integrity that people choose and people felt when we're there, Nassarawa State is going to have a new face of democracy. So instead of liberating, we're going to liberate. We're still talking. We have no vacuum in SDP. Everybody is together. I happen to be the leader of APC today, the political leader, being the gubernatorial aspirant. I have a very good relationship with all of them. Every aspirant had a very good, apart from the individual relationship, as per party level, we have a great bind together. All little things you are seeing that is happening in APC, when you have a good team, definitely you may have the otherwise. It's actually the same APC that are trying to come to cause problem between the aspiration of people or candidacy of people in SDP. But we, being smart people, we know what we're doing. We're dealing with the grassroots. Whatever they are going to do, I assured you, that is why you will see, even the APC themselves, they will tell you, we are afraid of SDP. Let them not be afraid. Let them just try and arrange their handover note and give us the Nassarawa State of our time.
Let's talk about governance in Nassarawa State. In some quarters, people have described Governor Sule Abdullahi as coming forth on his mandate. There is this palpable innuendo on skill acquisition and infrastructural development in Nassarawa State. What is your perspective on the administration of Governor Sule Abdullahi?
You see, I shouldn't be the right person to answer that. You should go to the grassroots and ask the people of Nassarawa State what is their own perspective about this government. But as for me, I will tell you it's zero. We've never had an administration like this, poor administration like this in Nassarawa State, where the governor has no manifestos, has no focus, does not even know what to do. Especially when you look at what is happening with the civil servant. The civil servant were been crying that, hey, Mr. Governor, there's no promotion for a number of years. Do a promotion for us and pay us our differences. And what is happening in Nassarawa State is 419. And I'll allow you to ask the people of Nassarawa State, the civil servant, what is happening between them and the government on Nassarawa State. What is happening there is 419. So the governor does not even know what is actually happening. It's not in charge of what is actually happening in Nassarawa State. When we come on board, we have it in mind to come and actually bring prudency. What they lacked before was prudency. And what we are going to put there is prudency. How do you want to go about it? It's Nassarawa State is a one-way traffic. When you talk of civil service state, we have nothing in Nassarawa State except the civil service. And so when you don't pay the civil servant, then hunger will be everywhere in Nassarawa State. And the Nassarawa State as a whole have no internal generated revenue. Mostly what they relied on is the money that comes from the federal allocation. So if there's no federal allocation, you discover there's no activities in Nassarawa State. So what we intend doing when we come, we try to bring business into it, introduce business into the life of people of Nassarawa State. For us to be in the center of Nigeria, God has his reason of keeping us in the center of Nigeria. I assured you when we come on board, I try to introduce a market. I call it a border market. This border market is going to be in the Lafia city. One would be like away from between Nassarawa and Lafia, which I'm going to have 1,200 shops in that particular market, the border market one. This 1,200 shops is going to at least employ 12,000 people, assuming 10 people transacting from each shop. That is about 12,000 people coming out of poverty. And what do we intend to do with this market? You will say, yeah, we have market. No, this is not really the kind of market we want to introduce. The market is actually to make the Nassarawa State to be commercial viable. And how do you intend doing it? This market, what I intend doing, all those things you were buying in Kano, like the Kaswang, Senga, Kori, and the rest, all those things, thank God we have an airport now. We can be landing them there, and it can be commercial viable. So people coming from Taraba, people from Gombe, Bauchi, instead of them going all to Kano, Jos, Kwara, Kogi, Benue, Enugu, they will all come stop in Lafia, make a commercial business and go back to where they're coming from. This alone would have changed the dimension. The second market will be at Maraban Dederi, that is on your way to Makodi. We'll also have another one with 1,200 shops. What I intend doing with that one? What I intend doing with that one is all the business that you are coming to Boko, you're coming to Onisha, you're going to Lagos, you're going to Cotonou to go and buy part of motor or the Belgian motor themselves, they will be selling in that particular market. So you could see, I will introduce Cotonou in Lafia. So instead of people going to places to buy, because of the proximity, I'm going to introduce that. And also I'm going to encourage people in order for us to have tourism in Nassarawa State. Because if you remember, we come out from the home of peace and tourism, which is Plateau State. But most of the tourism, we have no tourism in Nassarawa State. If you are coming, there's a place you call Angwan Chiawa going to Nassarawa Igong. At that bend, we have a hilly place. I'm going to actually make that hilly place to be a tourism ground, that it will be better than Obudu. And you know, that alone will create a lot of revenue for us. And the money we need to do it, plus or minus, even with the inflation, 4 billion, and this is a small money in the hands of the government. So we'll do it, and by the time we do it, you know, until God knows, we'll be generating money and people will be employed in that place. Also, there's a place we call Achiri. We have one spring water. It's actually a natural water that when the weather is getting cold, the water will be getting hotter. I saw this type of water in Morocco, in the town called Fas. What they do, they actually expand it, put a model shower, and people are actually coming there to take blessing. We're going to also do it. People will also be coming for tourism to also they take the blessing in that place. And a lot of them, we're going to do it. And also, when you're going to Kaduna through the Lafia road, through the Kefi road, there's a place we call Gitata. We have a stone there. We've actually gone on research to discover that that stone has a lot of spring water on it. We're going to actually introduce a spring water company in that place. We need just a little above 1 billion to do that. This one in less than 1 year, we'll be able to actualize it, and that will also be generating revenue. And also, if I actually speak for the people of Nassarawa State, when I said issue of revenue is supposed to be a key, the reason why I'm talking of where we'll generate money is because the issue of generating money in order for people to live is key. Also, I have it in mind that Nassarawa State is an agricultural state. We as a government, we're going to be farming. As we are farming, as a government, we're going to also introduce farming to the citizen. Citizens will be farming, we'll be giving them money to farm. What do we give them money? We give them money to encourage them. This money we're going to give them is not going to be free charge money. There are a lot of money. You will say maybe the state does not have money, so where do I get money? There is money in all the commercial banks. There are money in this specialist bank, like Bank of Industry, like Bank of Agriculture, Afrizim, Nixim, all these banks, CBN, there are funds for agriculture. We as a government, we can guarantee to go and collect this money and come and share it to our people. Especially maybe you look for a community, like a village called Uga, you can look for 100 people and get 100 million, give each of them 1 million, and to pay in 10 years. That is a long time investment. So they will be farming, and if they don't have where to sell, we as a government, because we are also farming, will be buying. You will not ask me, what do I do with this food if we are all buying? What we intend doing, I'm going to also introduce what we call industrial area. I'm going to introduce 2 industrial area. The industrial layout I'm going to introduce, one would be proximity to Abuja. So it will be within total Nassarawa axis, so that proximity to Abuja, it will be closed. So I'm going to have where I can have between 50 to 100 companies, both local and international, to come and settle there. As they settle, I'm not actually going to sell the land to them. I'm going to actually lease or give them the land for maybe between 50 to 60 years without collecting money from them. So whatever they are going to invest, they will come and actually put infrastructure there. And what they are putting as infrastructure, you know, it will actually develop the area. And this issue of kidnapping, these people going to the bushes to hide, there won't be any bush for them again to hide. So this alone would have actually helped. So these people that actually comes to settle, especially, let's say, will bring a company like Flour Mill and others, like Boa, like others, to come and actually settle in those places. You know, they'll be buying all these raw materials to be making use of it. So we don't need to take it far away from them. Then the other one will be between Wamba and Akwanga, which also proximity to go to Plateau State. So that anything we're doing there, those companies, instead of serving from far away Lagos or Port Harcourt to any other place, Kano, they can also be serving the North Central from Nassarawa State. So if this is in place, I assure you, whatever we are going to be farming, we are farmers. Our parents are farmers, we are farmers. The major business we know how to do is farming. And you know, with farming alone, even if it is sesame we are going to be farming, and the ginger, and yam, and other things, you will know that Nassarawa State is going to be booming in terms of wealth. So I assured you, we have a lot of program that we have for the people of Nassarawa State. And in fact, before I agreed to even aspire for the governor of Nassarawa State, I did not actually come empty-handed. What I did was for me to do a research. What do we have as our natural resources we have? You call us home of solid mineral, and you discover that solid mineral is not being impacted in our own people, rather than some few people abusing stealing it. When we come on board, we are going to stop it, and we are going to see how we can liberate and see how our people will benefit. And I discovered we have up to 51 type of mineral resources in Nassarawa State, all in commercial quantity. We are going to see how we can do synergy with the federal government and see how we can utilize it for the benefit of the people of Nigeria and the people of Nassarawa State. So we have a lot. As we go on to the program, I tell you a lot we have. I did not speak about education, I did not speak about health and others. And if I did not speak about education, you would think that maybe we're not ready. In Nassarawa State, we have no primary education. Well, I'll tell you, in terms of education, we're zero in Nassarawa State. In fact, in order to give confidence in what I'm saying, I will assure you that what happened last week in the State Assembly, they passed vote of no confidence to the governor in terms of primary, and they were calling on the governor to call on state of emergency on primary education. And state of emergency has been called for more than 1 year. State of emergency that has been called and everybody is sleeping. We don't know if the governor knows what is the meaning of state of emergency, especially in education. So what I assure you, in education, when we come on board, what I intend doing is trying to work with the State Assembly to make the primary education to be handled by the state government, which is going to be directly in my office, because giving the foundation to our children and also impose it for every children, for every civil servant and the politicians, their children must be going to the public school so that we can make it stronger. Thank God we all attended public school and we got what we got, and this alone, why don't we do it to our children? If you remove this burden on the people of Nassarawa, that they should stop paying the private school. It will surprise you that the private school we have in Karo alone is more than the whole public school we have in Nassarawa State, which is not supposed to be like that. And they were just there extracting money from the citizens of Nassarawa State, doing what they want. When we come on board, we are going to actually make the school to be stronger. How do we intend doing it? We intend doing it this way, that the teacher of a primary school will receive a higher salary than any other person in the state. This is how I want to make it. If the minimum wage is 30,000, they may start from 35 or 36 and above. This is how I want to make it, so that at the end of the day, they will be receiving good salary, and then we'll be able to checkmate them and put good teachers into it. And I will not stop there, so that the private school will not go and say, okay, our own start from 40 because they are making money, and people will still run there. As a government, we know what to do. Well, I'm going to actually give them a mortgage where teachers will be having the house of their own, and which it will be split to pay between 30 to 40 years, between 20 to 30 years. It depends on the number of years you have, and it depends on your level of work. Some will have a single room, some will have room and parlor, some will have 2 bedroom and up to 3 bedroom. And I will not stop there. And this will be purely mortgage. I can bring partners as a private people to come actually do it. We'll get a land for them. Then also, for me to also subsidize for them, I'm also going to give them a higher purchase, where some of them will have bicycle, some will have a bike, and some will have motor. It depends on what is your level. So those that will have car, maybe like the headmaster and the rest, because they have a good salary, as a government, I'm going to subsidize it with 20%. And then they are going to also pay this one within 5 years. If I do this, I'm actually strengthening the education of Nassarawa State. And I assured you, within the 4 years, people will be coming to Nassarawa to come and put their children in the public school. I assure you that public school is going to be the eye of the people. And I assure you, education is one of the best. And in terms of the hospital, actually in our policy, even though it's in Nigeria government constitution, what I intend doing is this, that children, a woman from the day of pregnancy discover till that child got to 5 years, they'll be taking free treatment in the public hospitals. Free treatment. Then a child from 6 and above, 6 to 60 years, they will be paying only for tests. But where necessary, we can give them some drugs and leverage, we'll also subsidize for them. Then 60 and above will also be attending free medication in Nassarawa State. If God has given us this power, we're actually looking for this power in the hands of God with the support of people of Nassarawa State. If God has actually given it to us, I assure you, the people of Nassarawa State will start celebrating. What I need from the people of Nassarawa State is to pray for me that all the policies I have when I got there, I should have the wisdom to do them.
2023 is posing much of a different political atmosphere. Nassarawa State has the capacity to swing votes to wherever they wish to. If they are so determined, that wouldn't be much of a surprise, I've continued to say. I will come to the import of beavers in this election in a moment, but let's look at restructuring. From the much you know, do you think Nassarawa State has the capacity to stand on its feet, survive and flourish if the need be?
You see, if you actually follow what I said earlier, you discover that I'm for restructuring. I'm going to restructure Nassarawa State. What I'm actually telling you here, Nassarawa State does not even have a foundation. And I told you earlier that what we lacked earlier was prudency. And if all these things are put in place, justice and fairness, of course you could see that restructuring or rebuilding of Nassarawa State is actually what I'm actually coming for. And when you said that the resources to handle on all these projects we are having, how do we intend to go about it? Of course, if as a state we don't have the money to do it, that is how we have the private sector, where I can look for people to come and invest within and outside the country. People to come and invest. Like, in fact, what I actually forgot to tell you, we have oil in Nassarawa. And when I come on board, I assure you, I will do everything possible to make sure that we refine the oil. We have in Kiana, which NNPC is already doing research at, but we have one that we have in Wamba. Between Wamba and Mayor, we have it also in commercial quantity. My researchers actually revealed this to us. So when we come on board, we will try to go and look for investors to come and actually see how we can put this oil, start working in Nassarawa State. We can synergize with the federal government. I can do it, collect the loan in the name of Nassarawa State to put it in place, so that at the end of the day, when we hand it over to the federal government, the 13% derivation can also be coming to Nassarawa State. But this is actually not the area of concentration. The area of concentration is the byproduct. The byproduct, where if they finish at this refinery, we'll be collecting. And like you know, this byproduct is actually what they use in making glasses, is what they use in making rubber, and also some plastic, and also some fabric. We're going to actually send like 3 companies across the senatorial zones. where one will be producing glasses, one will be producing rubber, and one will be producing fabric from this byproduct. You know, this will actually change it to a commercial quantity. I'm not telling you that what I'm intend doing is what I'm going to get a money on ground in Nassarawa State to do it. No, I've been in the private sector all through my life, and you should know that in private sector, I know how to come and actually privatize things to work for the people of Nassarawa State. If all those things were in Nassarawa State, of course, before any other person will benefit, we will definitely benefit it in Nassarawa State. In terms of the hospital, earlier I told you that I'm going to be feeding people with drugs. I know you'll be thinking, where would I get this money? I intend doing a hospital, a 7-star hospital that will be matched to every hospital in the world. I intend doing it. And what do I intend doing with this hospital? I'll call a private sector to come, and I'll see where I can have a money to also partake, especially giving them a land also is also a contribution. It could be an equity contribution. And apart from that, whatever liquid we could have, we could also give. Maybe we could give 40% and then give out 60%. So the proceeds we're getting here, if finishing this hospital, those one will be feeding the government hospitals with the drugs. And you could see, even if we're there or we're not there, this alone, if we put in a policy, we put in a law, then definitely things will be working. I'm actually coming to make a Nassarawa State institution to be greater than any woman being. What we lack in Nigeria as a whole is actually an institutional problem. We have no institution. People don't allow institution to work. You discover one person will be sitting down somewhere and be greater than the institution. I'm going to make institutions stronger than each individual. And as we unveil, as we go, I'm going to make our actually all the ministries to be in one place, so that the permanent secretary, the director, the commissioner, the governor, the deputy governor, I may even have my office there, even if it's not going to permanent, but I will be resuming there to be working. If you have just one building, we can be able to be checkmating people. And checkmating them in what way? Of course, we are going to be using a digital era to use. When people are coming in, they use temporary to come in. So that one is taking the record whether you've come work or not. So the period that you've not come to work, when you come to put your hand, it rejects you. So that alone is already checkmating you. So this will actually bring discipline. And when you know commissioner is already sitting in the office, the governor is around the office, deputy governor is around, everybody is around, permanent secretary, secretary to the government is around, people will rush to come to work, and then we'll be able to bring out prudency in Nassarawa State, and then we can bring, in fact, I'm not doubting that the human empowerment in Nassarawa State, that when we come on board, we're actually going to empower people, because we have prudent people in Nassarawa State in order to give Nassarawa State what it intends to actually have.
Abuja Metropolis shares so much proximity and this opportunity to Nassarawa State. I know of so many who work and do business in Abuja but resident in Nassarawa State. Why is this so much of a problem, taking advantage of such opportunities and making life as meaningful to the people who live in Nassarawa State as those who live in Abuja?
In Nassarawa State, I assure the people of Nassarawa State the traffic we are having going into Abuja, being the most closest state to Abuja, I assure you in my first 100 days in office, I will reduce that traffic to 90%. Because if you ask me how do I want to go about it, I will tell you there's no law and order. I'm going to put law and order in that place. And when there's law and order, I assured you we're going to reduce that traffic by 90%. And as we unveil, I'm going to actually take the bus stop away from the major road. When bus stop is not in the major road, I assure you we have a free movement in Mararaba. So that alone we encourage people to come there. As they encourage people, and as we unveil, I have it in plan to do a railway from, we do a railway from Abuja border to Akwanga. We call it first phase of a railway station. So when we have a railway, and this one, you say, like I always said, it's not really the money of Nassarawa State. We bring investors to come and do it. After a long while, then Nassarawa will take over it.
The new electoral law has become more of an encouragement to some politicians, especially those outside the corridors of power. How do you see the new law playing in your favor going into election 2023?
You see, we must actually appreciate INEC by bringing these beavers. And you can see the APC nationwide are jittering, are afraid because they know SDP are going to take over the country. With these beavers, we have assurance that the only political party that could fit in Nigeria is SDP, because we have all it entails from the president to the state assembly. So with these beavers, we are encouraging INEC that not to go back on this issue of beavers, because going back out of beavers is going to cause a calamity in Nigeria. Give us a leverage and give us a level playground with beavers. I assured you that SDP are going to emerge a Nigerian president, governors all over that state.
You share a relationship with Chief Kenneth Gbagi, the gubernatorial candidate of your party in Delta State. You've been to Delta State. How will you assess his political pathway to 2023 in Delta State?
You see, the people of Delta, when I visited Delta, I was highly disappointed about what I've seen in Delta with the kind of money they are receiving. If really is an oil state company, is an oil state getting 13% derivation, I'm highly disappointed. But look, I assured you, with our gubernatorial candidate, His Excellency Kenneth Gbagi, if the people of Delta will do for themselves and vote for him, it will turn Delta to London, or he will turn Delta to Dubai. Because when you look at the private investment he do have in Delta State, this alone would have told you nobody has a Delta, nobody has an investment like him in Delta. In fact, this is one Nigeria that we should be praising for investing his wealth in Nigeria, because a lot of politicians and a lot of people has their money, but their investment is across Nigeria. But he has all his investment in his own state. We're going to appreciate him for this, and I think this is the time that what he actually put in as a private person, let the people give him all the support so that he can put it for them as a governor of Delta State. I've actually visited some places, see how the flood is actually taking over Delta State, and the governor is not doing anything about it. I assured you, if we come on board, we're going to be doing synergy within the state, within the governors, and we'll make sure any governor that is not performing, we'll come and tell him that, look, we've promised to the people of Nigeria that we'll be performing. So we wait until Gbagi emerge as a governor of Delta State, and then we'll see what will happen. I wish him well, and I wish all the gubernatorial candidates and the SDP all, we wish ourselves well, and by God's grace, come 29 May 2023, we're going to take over Nigeria with the new ideology.
Well, we look forward to seeing how your plans and optimism for Nassarawa State translate to victories for you and the people of Nassarawa State. Believing that down the line we'll have opportunities for more of these interesting discussions. Immeasurable thanks, Mr. Mustapha, for being on this show. And I wish you Godspeed as you go into campaigns proper.
Yeah, please, anytime, and I appreciate giving me this golden time.
Thank you so much.
I do appreciate it.